Bernie Sanders somehow thinks that he deserves a private jet when he flies to get the word out about how bad the oligarchy is. You know, a few months ago, I think I rolled some tape for you guys of him asking for money. He needs your money to fight the oligarchy. Well, guess what he's doing with your money? He's like this. AOC, Bernie Sanders, socialists that they are, decide to go give a speech about, those big bad oligarchs. And they exit their private plane to do it. Kid you not, this is embarrassing for them, not that they have any shame. They have no shame. Absolutely, positively no shame. I mean, they're like the oligarchs themselves. So Bernie Sanders was asked about this. That's my shorts feed, by the way, on YouTube. Check it out when you can. Bernie Sanders was asked about this by a Fox News anchor, and he's like, he gets like mad about it. He's like, sort of like, how dare you? I'm not going to apologize for this. I have to take my private plane. Listen to this guy. I mean, you cannot make it up.
All right, last thing. You know, Alyssa Slotkin, senator from Michigan, she said you shouldn't be using oligarch. It's over people's head. You've gotten criticized from other people. Free Beacon says Bernie Sanders spent $221,000 on private jets fighting the oligarchy tour, paid for by friends of Bernie Sanders. That you've spent millions of dollars in campaign funds on private jet travel over the years. How do you push back on both of those things?
When's the last time you saw Donald Trump during a campaign mode at National Airport?
No, it doesn't. But he's also not fighting the oligarchy.
No. You run a campaign and you do 3 or 4 or 5 rallies in a week. The only way you can get around to talk to 30,000 people. Think I'm going to be sitting on a waiting line at United waiting, 30,000 people are waiting? That's the only way you can get around. No apologies for that. That's what campaign travel is about. We've done it in the past. We're going to do it in the future.
And you think that this is hitting a mark? You think it's scratching the itch that voters want to hear from?
I think at a time when the people on top are doing phenomenally well, when seniors, working class people are struggling, people want to hear action to stand up to the people who have the wealth and the power and create an economy that works for all of us, not just the people on top.
Well, Senator Sanders, I appreciate you coming on, talking about the issues.
And therefore, we must fly private. And therefore, we can't actually be sitting at the Newark, New Jersey air terminal waiting to see whether our United flight's going to take off because of all the FAA challenges. No. We're going to fly private. We're going to fight the oligarchs, right? Can't fight the oligarchs unless you're, an oligarch? I mean, this is unbelievable. These people, they write the scripts. You couldn't write a script, I should say, like this, right? If you're trying to take aim at the other side, it's like they just make it too easy. We don't even have a fair fight anymore. Unbelievable. But this has come up before, and like a good socialist that he is, John Kerry, who had tons and tons of money because he married into it, Teresa Heinz, Heinz Ketchup, he has to fly private too. He was our old climate czar under Biden, under Obama. And there was this one time when he went to collect an award for his climate initiatives, and he took a private jet, which, of course, is like running up the carbon ticket. And he said, well, but I have to. It's like, Bernie, I got to fight the oligarchy. I got to fight for climate change. So I have to take a private jet, right?
On that issue, pollution, I understand that you came here with a private jet. Is that an environmental way to travel?
If you offset your carbon, it's the only choice for somebody like me who is traveling the world to win this battle. I negotiated the Paris Accords for the United States. I've been involved in this fight for years. I negotiated with President Xi to bring President Xi to the table so we could get Paris. And I believe the time it takes me to get somewhere, I can't sail across the ocean. I have to fly to meet with people and get things done. But what I'm doing almost full time is working to win the battle of climate change. And in the end, if I offset and contribute my life to do this, I'm not going to be put on the defensive.
In other words, my time is so much more important than yours. My work is so much more important than yours. So I'm going to make the rules that work for me, but don't work for you. These people are all the same, okay? All the same. This is what socialism does. These people are so fundamentally flawed and clearly, in my estimation, lack an empathy chip because they cannot get outside themselves enough to understand how wrong this really is. AOC, meanwhile, one of the people that's out there on the oligarchy tour with none other than Bernie Sanders using all kinds of campaign money to pay for those private jets. She's been caught in a little bit of a situation herself. Did you see this, guys? AOC accused of misappropriating taxpayer funds. This is a watchdog group who came out recently and complained that she was using taxpayer funds on dance training. This is Americans for Public Trust. Again, a private watchdog group that goes after corruption, is alleging that Ocasio-Cortez tapped into her member representational allowance to shell out $3,700 to Juan D. Gonzalez and $850 to Bombazo Dance Company, Inc. for what was described as training. In the month of December, the watchdog sent the complaint to the Office of Congressional Ethics, and they're arguing that the representative made the payments in contravention of federal law and the standards of the House Representatives. Now she's like, no, nothing to see. This is 100% wrong. She kind of reminds me a little bit of, dare I say, one Letitia James. 100% wrong, nothing to see. Be loud and wrong about something else. Try again next time. She said none of this is a taxpayer money funded thing. This is an FEC filing. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. Okay, so FEC, again, aren't those like federal election committee funds then? I mean, maybe it's even a bigger problem. Maybe now, I don't know, the feds can go after you for this one because you're taking taxpayer dollars from the federal government for your dance training. I mean, unbelievable. So again, it's this Bronx-based dance group, and socialist that she is, she somehow feels that like she's entitled to this. Just like Bernie and she are entitled to their private jets, she also gets private dance lessons. And the left is holding her up as the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they want her to run for the presidency of the United States. I'm like, bring it on. Great. We'll take that all day long, right?
Rev, nobody ever said that Congress was a meritocracy. I understand that AOC may be more progressive than a lot of people. I also understand that she's one of the most articulate, exciting people in the Democratic field. She goes out with Bernie Sanders, and yeah, she just draws so many people. It's very good, very effective in hearings. Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of people. Nancy Pelosi was a progressive. When Nancy became leader, she realized she needed to represent the entire caucus. AOC certainly could do that as well. After the election, she was going around talking to people who voted for her and Donald Trump, saying, "I want to understand why did you do that? What don't I understand?" Listen, Democrats, I mean, and we're going to talk to Dave Weigel about this in a second, their approval rating is just absolutely disastrous. They don't need to keep getting people like in retirement, past retirement age, being their voice. They need somebody young like AOC. And again, it's not about ideology. She can carry the message forward for a Democratic Party that really needs to reach out to younger Americans.
They need to reach out to younger Americans, and they need to reach out in an authentic way. I think that what makes AOC effective is not only that she's younger, but that she comes off authentic without saying, I'm trying to kick the older crowd aside. Because it was very important. She did that tour with 83-year-old Bernie Sanders, while some of the younger members of Congress saying the old guard needs to retire. She's showing a balance and a maturity as a young person and a message that penetrates.
And by the way, what a great message to have. You've got all these Ivy League boys, that are in the Trump administration that went all the, no offense to Ivy League boys here or anywhere, but all these guys, billionaire Ivy Leaguers, right? Attacking her, going, oh, she's an elite. And she's like,
Right.
what do you think? I was like a bartender or a barista or whatever she was. She's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I had to work my ass off to like stay one step ahead of creditors and debtors. I know you.
And she talks as one who was had to work her way.
Again, I'll just say, bring it on. We'll take that one all day long. Do you see the look on Mika's face? Mika, by the way, does not like AOC and has made that quite clear on other occasions. So she's sitting there like, can't talk. It's the boss. It's my husband. But no, AOC. Oh my gosh. Listen, they're done. Like, it's like they don't know how to get out of their own way. I kind of feel bad for them, just a little. I mean, only because you want to see a fair fight. And so, if you're on the sidelines saying, okay, who we're going to run in 28, it's not AOC, okay, guys? Like, just not AOC. Good luck with that. Good luck. America's not socialist. America doesn't want to be socialist. America doesn't want people stealing their money for private jets or dance lessons, okay? Understood? We want to keep what we have. We are capitalists through and through. It's why everybody wants to come to America, for goodness sakes. Certainly. Right? Because we're still the place of prosperity. Speaking of prosperity, one of the reasons I started 76 Research, my company, with my dear friend, is because, I wanted you to have a chance at that prosperity too. Everybody should have a shot at this. And so you need to be invested in the markets, especially now. I think there's lots of good stuff coming ahead for long-term investors. And even, if you got a shorter time horizon, you probably want to look at one of our portfolios, like the income builder portfolio, because if you want to retire one day, this is probably the best way to think about doing it, because you get some dividend income there. We also have some dividend stocks there in the inflation protection portfolio as well. A big thank you to Let It Go Entertainment. Thank you for your generosity. Again, I'm looking at all your comments live while I stream. It's kind of amazing how one multitasks here on this show, right? We are live. Make sure you subscribe, share, like. If you get a chance, go over to 76 Research. Hey, this is a great Mother's Day present. Why not? Get your mom involved in investing. Use code word dollar. It's $1 a month for the first 2 months. We'll refund it if you hate it. So no harm, no foul.